This unit right here is the cheapest T4 crossover log I could find. As I know it's been a while since I've uploaded something from any kind of wrenching, I apologize for that. But there's a good reason for it. I've been having to do all kinds of like background stuff that's just not interesting, like making phone calls, sending emails, doing research on the computer, figuring out how to pack things, hanging lights. Like, it's not enough to make a video out of it, just hang lights. So I just didn't do it. I also needed to like reprioritize what was important to me when it came to building stuff. I found that I felt like I was getting into the trap of building stuff because it would make good content, not because I wanted to do it. Sometime last week I kind of figured like, oh hey, that's why I'm not fulfilled by this. So not doing that anymore. I'm not going to build stuff because I think people like it. I'm going to build stuff because it's what I want to build, and I know you're going to like it because my passion for it will radiate through in that sense. So with that being said, Uncle Rob is not going to get built out of garbage. It's gonna have the hood, it's gonna have exhaust, it's gonna be a fully functional, daily drivable sleeper of a Yukon. Like, that's what I wanted this thing to be from day one. That's what it's gonna be. Still gonna use budget stuff, all the same budget stuff, but the piping is not gonna be made out of random garbage, and you're gonna be able to close the hood. So that's what I'm gonna be starting on today. This unit right here is the cheapest T4 crossover log I could find. It's still better than making it out of garbage. I think it was $287 on eBay. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's a piece of cast iron. How much more advanced could you really want it? Other than little Chang here didn't really grind all the casting flash off. Must have been Friday or something, but it will do the job. The turbo will bolt directly to it right there. It's super easy. This is my little like shipping station here where I do all my shirt orders. I got a bunch of them in now. I got more Escalade ones coming and some hats too. I gotta figure out how to ship those though. Got the old load from Summit here. I really didn't want to I wanted to show what you could get with what you could get laying around. They're easy to get, and these vibrant UJs are pretty common, so I got some of those. What else do we get in here? Let's just break everything. Got a feed band flange. Mild steel. There's not interlocking, so it'll butt up against that log manifold. One side of it will anyway. That's all I need. I'm just going to use the part of the stock crossover, or the stock exhaust that bolts to the driver's side manifold. That's not going to change. I'll just cut that off and build from there. My favorite tool for the job for doing headers, manifolds, anything like that, it's a good old-fashioned ratchet wrench, because you get the most direct like torque rotating angle on the head of the bolt. It's not offset at all like a socket is. And I mean, obviously when you're gonna do these the first time, they're gonna be a mofo to get off. You may not be able to use a ratchet wrench in that case because it's too tiny, but once it's already off and you got headers on there or something, put anti-seize on your bolts. It is so awesome because you can just take a ratchet wrench, crack it loose, get like a couple cranks in there, and you can generally get them out with your fingers. Yeah, let's get this bad boy taken off. I'm really eager to test the fit up on the super cheap Chinese log and see how the turbo bolts up, like where it fits out under the hood and everything. So let's go. I'm not even gonna put the gasket in, and I'm only gonna hand thread 2 bolts in just because we're doing this for mock-up. I'm gonna build the turbo kit, and then everything's gonna come back apart and get reassembled the right way. I honestly have no idea how this is going to fit on here, so we're gonna see. It looks like, with the turbine housing clocked the right way, it'll put the turbo in about a perfect spot. Maybe have to get rid of this cap, the long neck one, for just a regular flush cap, which, by the way, if you didn't know, okay, so you go like that, or take this neck out here. Probably never been taken out in its life. Want to see something cool? Want to see something cool? What's that? Boom. If you didn't know that, you're welcome. If you did, just humor me here. It's cool, okay? Yeah, I think it's gonna fit pretty good. We may have a little clearance issue with here. I'm probably gonna have to relocate this or make a new one or something. This is probably gonna have to move, but this dipstick is about to break off of the block anyway, so that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. This AC line may be able to survive here with some heat wrap, bend it out of the way. but we'll find out in a second. That's basically how it's gonna be. Dang. Yeah, we're gonna have to move that. Well, shoot. That's pretty freaking clean. The turbo is just a little bit crooked. I don't know why they would do that. It drives me crazy. It's probably just an error in the casting or the way the holes are. I may be able to like wire out the holes and fix that if it really bothers me, but I think if it's pretty good. Aside from being a little bit crooked, but who cares? Like, I already got the charge pipe for this side done, so we'll just have to add the blow-off valve, make a new pipe from here to Boosted Boy Kyle's old intercooler, and make the crossover, add the wastegate, make a down pipe. Now I'm just gonna hook it to the stock muffler because why the heck not? And dang boys, we got ourselves a turbo kit. Look at that, we just built the whole thing in about 30 seconds. Not really. However, you get the point. This is very simple. And to show you how simple, one of the techs here at 777, Ashton, has a single turbo regular cab Sierra that is set up almost just like this. And let's go take a look at that thing and see how his like functional setup is done and looking like this is his daily driver. So that's what I want. I want daily driver, so we're gonna go look at a daily driver and see how it's set up. I wanna see your truck.
He wants some more chop. That's all he wants.
He wants more chop.
He wants chop in here.
Tanner.
Yes.
We need more chop, Tanner. I can't hear you. Just give me more chop.
Okay.
His turbo's in almost the same spot. It's bigger though. What's the turbo setup on it?
It's a VS Racing 75mm billet wheel. It's pretty much it. Just a big single turbo. It's 4.8 liter. Stock head, stock intake, sloppy stage 2 cam, pack 12-18 valve springs, and a good transmission. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what the Yukon's gonna be, but with a smaller turbo.
The right size turbo.
Is it?
That's how I call it. Everyone says smaller. I say the right size.
Really? Huh.
Let's call it the right size. 'Cause that's what it wants. That's what the engine combination wants. So.
Interesting. Take note, people. Bigger is not always better. Because they told me, Robert at Force Performance said that turbo is spec'd to work perfectly with a stock converter, stock 5.3. Like, it'll light up and be fun under the curve and stuff.
Exactly.
What makes this one not the right size turbo?
The back housing's too big for the size of the engine. The cubic inches is too small, basically, so it's not pushing enough air to actually spool the turbo as fast as I'd like it to.
So it's just a little slow.
Yeah, power band is up at about 4,000. It lights off.
And I think it's really interesting that he brought up the distinction between smaller turbo and the right size turbo, because that's a really important thing that a lot of people overlook. It's like, what is your combination going to be? What is it now? What is it going to be? What's more important to you? Because the same turbo that you're going to put on a stock 5.3 is not the same turbo that you're going to put on a forced bottom end 6 liter whenever you want to make 1,000 horsepower. It's not going to behave the same. It's not going to light up the same. That's why I got this turbo from Force Performance. It is configured to be the ideal turbo for exactly what this is, which is a stock 5.3 with a stock converter. It doesn't need to be like idled up to light off or anything. It's going to make power under the curve. It's going to make torque, and it'll work perfectly with this lame brain stock motor, which is exactly what we want for a daily driver. I'm going to get working on the crossover now that we got the manifold in there with the turbo mocked up. Not that the turbo even has to be there. I just makes me feel better to look at it like this. So let's get to it. I got it jacked up. We'll go under here and see what we're dealing with. Yeah, this thing has been a daily driver in Pennsylvania and Maryland its entire life, so it is not pretty under here. Don't expect it to be. This is real world stuff. Oh boy. Ew. It's brown. 4L60. Ew. That is the factory manifold, and we're gonna take that, cut the flange off the old Y pipe, and run it over to here. I'm gonna see if our V-band fits up on this. It does. I don't have another extension cord, so they just reach across the floor all the way over here, which is pretty freaking cool. I was gonna run that crossover piece kind of the way it was for the first part of it, Put it up there, it was way too close to the drive shaft, and it was at kind of a funny angle. Just didn't like it. So I cut this off, made it flush. We're gonna start from there, and I'm gonna file this out after I get it mocked up, because the file and everything is way over there. It was one of those things where I just had to catch myself, and I'm like, no dude, you're not cutting this corner. You're not gonna like it when it's done. Cut it, start over, do it the right way. That's how you need to do it. And I listen to that voice. I think we all have that voice in us when we're working on stuff. And a lot of times we don't listen to it because we want to get it done the easiest way possible. Human beings are inherently lazy like that. It's what we do. So make a conscious effort to listen to that voice when you feel like there's a shade of something that needs to be redone or should be checked. Redo it or check it. That's how you build nice stuff. I never turned down that voice when I was building the Escalade. If it was not absolutely perfect, there was any question about anything at all, I redid it until I knew it was the best I could do. And that's what I'm getting back to, even if I may be working on a rusty 200,000 mile Yukon. What I do is still gonna be nice work, plain and simple. I'm not exactly sure how well you're gonna see what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Get it up there, nice and flush. Check my angle of attack here. Get some marks up there so I know where to tack it to. So got everything filed, lined up, ready to rock. I'm gonna tack it together with the old Fronius Magic Wave. I usually do 3, just for good measure, because 2, you drop it, you can bust it one way, but if you have 3 relatively evenly spaced ones, it's pretty good. I apologize for the wind flapping around. It's like the air pressure changes in here and blows these vent flaps, so it is what it is. I know I made this mark here. I'm gonna go test fit it again and then hold my angle up to it so I can make sure this is the right place to cut it. I'm doing this right. So 1, I'm glad I did that. I found out I can cut it up farther and get it closer to the drive shaft without hanging down too far. This is where I'm gonna want it. 2, I'm not even gonna use this, I'm gonna save this for later. I'm gonna cut this right on the middle here, create a 90, and then I have more of a one-piece deal. It may end up getting cut here and done another 90. It may end up using some of this, then going the rest of the way up. I don't know, but this is gonna minimize the amount of monkeying around. And I always like to do things using the least amount of pieces possible. I think that's the best way to do it. From, like, you know, good fabricators will use the least amount of pieces, and you're not just like just random stuff together to make it work. If that bothers you, I am not sorry. It's true. I'm filing all these cuts out now. All the crud like this, some of it's worse than others. Filing all that out with this little needle dick file, because it's the only one I can find. I usually like the ones that have like they're like the half moon shape with the flat top. Those, you know, do work on these. And even better than that, like a die grinder, air powered one with the rasp tip, like the swirly one, and you just go clean. That's it. That's the one drawback to the chop saw, is it leaves a lot of debris like that. Where a bandsaw doesn't, you still gotta clean it. But with the chop saw, it tends to leave a flatter face, so you don't have to like square it up with like with a belt sander or something. It's just personal preference, really. Most of the time, I prefer bandsaw, but I don't have one of those yet either, so we're just making it work. As you can see, just making it work. So I've been working for a bit off camera. I got this going, got that all marked up there. That's gonna line up this way, just like that. And I had an episode where I got some stuff in my eye, so I'm just decided I'm gonna wear these Pit Vipers the whole time, because I didn't have anything on my eyes before, but I'm also not usually working underneath something that has like flaky rust crud all over the place. So it's like anytime you bump anything here, it's like, oh my god, there's stuff in my eyes. So yeah, These clear pit vipers are actually like ANSI certified safety glasses, if you didn't know that. Actually, all pit vipers are. So the clear ones just make great safety glasses, and you look like a friggin' pimp too. I'm gonna get this pulled back off and tack weld this here, and then we're like on the home stretch now. This is the hard part. So nice. So this is already looking like 9 bazillion times better than it was before, and I'm actually happy with it. Making great strides here. Let me show you what I got going on. I put the V-band flange assembly up, bolted it in. That way I have something to set my pipe in for MOGOT purposes. Got your boy cut pipe here. You go like that. You got some adjustability inside the V-band. Some applications may allow you to do this more than others, but right here, it does not matter if it's perfectly square inside the flange. So we're gonna kind of come out like that. You can see what we got going on here. And then I got that 90. We're gonna 90 right off of this, and it's gonna land us somewhere in this neighborhood here. I'm at a bit of a standstill here. My ears kind of hurt from the saw. I need to get some ear protection, but we're getting close. I just need a better way to cut stuff. That thing is really slow too. I think it needs to be closer to the wall. The extension cord is making it lose power. It's like 8:30 right now, which is not very late, but I got to start getting ready for bed because I'm progressively getting up early and earlier because I go to the gym in the morning. I'm going back to Pennsylvania in a couple days to get my Monte Carlo. It's done getting painted, so I got to go pick that thing up and maybe I'll hang around for a day and see family, whatever, for Christmas. If I actually get there on Christmas, I don't know. It might be the day after. I don't really abide by holidays. I don't know, they seem to get in my way. Stay tuned for the trip to Pennsylvania to pick up the Monte Carlo and check out its fresh paint job after the carport incident. I promise you, you are going to get a ton of awesome content in January. All the groundwork I've been laying for the last few weeks, not posting that much, it's paying off. Things are happening. Stay tuned, because it's gonna be a wild ride coming up these next few months. You guys are gonna see a finished crossover. I don't care if it takes longer to post the video. It's getting done. Tired of goofing around. I'm not coming back here with another car until I finish this dang crossover. So that's that. And I'm making some big progress here. I had to cut my tack because the angle was a little off. So that was my mistake for tacking it and not using tape. But pretty much got it here. I gotta set this up with a tripod so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, hopefully that works. Note taken, I cannot put the camera on myself. I just have to do a little bit of trimming. See, if I put this up here, I got my 290s in my centerpiece. I line one up on this side. I know you can't see it, but it's lined up right where it needs to be. It is off by a little bit less than an inch. So what I'm gonna do, progressively use my calibrated eyeball to figure out how much I gotta take off of here and just shave it down just little by little until it fits. But I got those pieces fit, I got it tacked, I got the insides filed down so there's no edges. Everything's tacked. I just tacked the last piece to the connecting the one side of the driver's side. And I also got up in there and tacked the entire crossover to the V-band where it was sitting. Now I gotta take it apart and try not to bend it at all so I can tack the other side of the flange, because the way it was, I could only reach like one part of it. So I tacked it in 3 places to keep it from moving. And now I'm gonna get it out, throw a tiny tack on the other side to anchor it without bumping on anything so it doesn't change angles, and then test fit it again. After that, I can finish weld it. So let's pull this thing out of here and see what it looks like. Let's check this out here. The fit up is pretty perfect everywhere except right here, a tiny little gap. And instead of messing with this for another hour, I'm just gonna let it ride because this is mild steel. I can fill that. It's not gonna hurt anything. If it were stainless, I would not let that gap ride, but it's not, so. And also kind of what I did up here that inadvertently helped is having this little piece poke out. It looks stupid, but what it actually does is when you have that flange lined up, that piece sticking out goes into the manifold a little bit and helps center it in there when you're putting it on. It'll help you get the V-band on easier, and it'll just, you know, help locate it. It's kind of like a little trick people do sometimes. I'd be lying if I said I did that on purpose, but when I pulled it off, I was like, oh, okay, well, it lands that way, I'm gonna send it. But what sometimes people will do is, like, this is your flange surface, you'll put it on a little bit behind so the pipe sticks out a little bit. And that's like a cheap DIY way to have an interlocking V-band flange without paying the extra price for that. There's my tidbit for the day. Crossover came out great. Manifold fits great. All I gotta do now is put the wastegate on that, finish weld it, put this charge pipe on, blow off valve, make a pipe that goes from the turbo to the intercooler right here, and do something for a downpipe to the stock muffler. And just, you know, the buttoning up stuff, like fuel system, there'll be a separate video on that. You know, the plumbing, miscellaneous things, make some new trans lines, because these ones are, like, you know, coming apart. It's just stuff like that. Like, this thing is really, Uncle Rob is really coming together now. We're getting really close. The heavy lifting is pretty much over as far as the turbo kit goes. Now it's just little things. And that manifold was a game changer. I'll keep you guys updated as we go to see how it holds up, how it works, you know, just what my thoughts are once it's functioning. That was the cheapest manifold I could find anywhere that had the crossover built into it. It's on eBay, it's on Amazon. It's like $287, I think. Well, that's it. I'm done for the day, because I actually got to pack, get ready, and hook up John's enclosed trailer, because I'm going back to Pennsylvania for like some holiday stuff. But the real reason is to pick up my Monte Carlo, which is now done, from the body shop thing that I explained earlier. Before we go, the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can get that at stapletonautoworks.com. I kind of got a bunch of them right now, so I need to sell them. Otherwise, I just have all that money sitting in inventory. I can't get car parts with it or put diesel in my tank to go do things like get cars. And I actually got to go to Pennsylvania again sometime in the next few weeks after I get the Monte Carlo, because I got to get the Suburban too. Uncle George is coming out hard in 2021. I'm super pumped for this. You better be ready for it. But yeah, Stapleton Auto Works. You got the saw flag one right here and the OG Escalade one there. This is what they look like. That's actually based off the Escalade's intercooler. I designed it myself, and Jacob from Elite Designs made it into a graphic for me. And yeah, that's the OG one, signed by me and Cole. Just because I don't know why we did that, but if you want me to sign something or write something on your stuff, just like put it in the order notes and I'll do it. I put a handwritten note and stickers in every package anyway. So head on over there, stapletonautoworks.com, subscribe, tell your friends, pet your dog, all that fun stuff. We'll see you with a big black Monte Carlo somewhere in Pennsylvania in the next few days.